Welcome to the BrainTap podcast, here to help you relax, reboot, and strengthen your overworked brain. Your host, Dr. Patrick Porter, has been developing cutting-edge brainwave training technology for 3 decades. He's been featured in national publications such as the Wall Street Journal, Business Week, and Inc. magazine, as well as major television networks such as NBC, CBS, and the Discovery Channel. Dr. Porter's latest development, the BrainTap Pro mobile app, can help you sleep better, lose weight, de-stress, quit smoking, or kick any other bad habit, all while increasing your energy, mindfulness, joy, peak performance, and more. Take the free BrainTap Pro Challenge. Simply register at braintap.pro. That's braintap.pro. On the BrainTap podcast, Dr. Porter brings together a team of experts to share up-to-the-minute news in neuroscience, brain training technology, along with how mindfulness and meditation can be used to improve your life in ways you never imagined possible. And now, here's your host, Dr. Patrick Porter.
Hello and welcome to BrainTap Radio. We have a really special guest with us today, Jaya Myra. And I'm not sure, do you say both names, Jaya Jaya, or tell me how you pronounce your name there, because that was a little unusual when we were researching you and found your information.
You can just call me Myra.
Okay.
I do go by Jaya Jaya Myra, but my actual given name is Myra, so that's okay.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and what got you into vibrational healing and the arts that you're in right now.
That's actually a very interesting story. My background is as a molecular biologist, of all things, and I was always really interested in finding cures for things, and I wanted to be able to make the world a better place by making people healthier. I had faced my own health crisis about 11, 12 years ago now, where I had been diagnosed with really debilitating fibromyalgia, and Western medicine science was not able to do anything to help me. So I began utilizing some of what I was learning through Eastern philosophy and spiritual teachings at the time, and just diving into it to understand the foundation. And I started applying some of those foundational principles to my life. And when I did that, I found that I was getting better. And within about a year or so, I was better. Like no traces of the disease, no physical pain, no manifestation of problems anymore.
That's great. So tell us a little bit about your background from being in the sciences like that into more of the world of beyond the physics, what people would call metaphysics. Tell me a little bit about how you made that jump specifically for you and on a personal level.
I was always interested in both. Like, I'm very interested in the spiritual side of things and taking care of my body and mind-body-spirit balance. But I was also very interested in the sciences. So for me, it came natural to look in both places. And I grew up in a family where my mom was always very into natural remedies for things. So it was natural for me to try to look in that direction to find something. Like, I never really believed that I would stay sick, that there would be something that would be wrong with me. And so I just kept looking and applying things until I found something that worked for me.
When talking about energy on your website and in your work, you talk a lot about energy types and things of that nature. When you were doing your research in this area, is there any formal training for that, or how did you come up with this energy resource that you now share with people?
So that's an interesting story too. I actually pulled a lot of this straight from Eastern scripture. And then I came to find out later in my studies, after I was already applying it, that this is actually the whole basis behind Ayurveda. So Ayurveda meaning the science of life. So everything that I use in my systems is pretty parallel to what Ayurveda talks about. Like, they talk about 3 primary doshas, but all those break down into 5 elemental types, like when you further dive into the study. So I just take people back to the root essence, because that's how I discovered it. Each of the elements does have differences to them. They overlap in the doshas. But when you break them out into the 5 manifestations, you can understand not just about your physical health, but also about your emotional, mental, psychological health and how you're apt to relate to the world.
Right. In the BrainTap world, our tribe is dealing with mostly the mind and the mental side of things, but we believe there's the physical, mental, and emotional there, and the spiritual. So tell me a little bit about how you'd apply this in the world of psychology or in somebody's mindset in helping them to achieve things in life. Because I know you do some coaching with people too. So I know that sometimes you got to move them off their old thoughts, their old beliefs. So tell me a little bit about how you work in that area.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I try to get people to understand as a foundational concept is that the mind can either be this great projector of our reality where we can create and manifest the life of our choosing, or our life is like a big trash can where you're just storing thoughts and impressions. And everything that you experience in life, it makes what I call a thought form. So your combined emotion and experience wraps itself up in your psyche in a way, and then it just stores that information. And when we start to accumulate a lot of that stuff, it just goes in and goes in and goes in, and we don't do anything about it. And then the mind becomes like this trash can. So the analogy that I use is that we eat food every single day, and we digest food every single day. But most people don't know how to digest their thoughts. They don't know how to digest these thought forms. So by learning how to do that through mindfulness and meditation and other breathing practices, things like where we become more mindful, you start to digest those thought forms and empty out that garbage bin that the mind has become. When you do that, health and healing becomes much more natural and easy. You can go into deeper mindfulness states where you start to activate the parasympathetic nervous system automatically and help your body to heal more naturally. And you can also start to regain control of your life and your reality.
Mm-hmm. When you do this, do you have recordings or do you do live sessions with people that help them to learn this mindfulness, or how do you train someone to do this?
I do live sessions with people. I find that it's better to have that one-on-one mentoring, because I can teach someone how to do something, but if I really want someone to change, they need to know that I'm going to be there with them at every step in the process and to answer questions or just to give a little bit more encouragement or support. So the first thing that I do when I'm teaching someone is I find out where they're at in their process. So if someone already doesn't have a routine going for them, I usually don't ever give a meditation or a mindfulness routine right off the bat, because consistency is hard for people. I try to encourage people to adapt a daily consistency routine of something that they enjoy. So whether that's sitting down and reading a book for 15 minutes or sitting down with a cup of tea for 15 minutes and just being present with yourself, maybe it's going for a walk, but just to be sure to be 100% consistent with that every single day. So you're doing something that you enjoy and you start to relate this pattern of consistency to enjoyment. You're going to link those neurons in the mind. So when you've started to develop a pattern that's working for you and you're seeing tangible differences, and you enjoy the consistency, it becomes much easier to adapt a daily mindfulness practice, a meditation practice, or to do any other number of things that are going to be helpful for your health.
What have you seen as far as the people you're coaching? What is one of the major milestones or accomplishments you've seen as you've coached people using this kind of technology?
I have seen people get better extremely quickly, whether it's from skin problems, stress, anxiety, heartache. It doesn't really matter what angle the person comes from. I've seen pretty remarkable things like all across the board for the people that want to be consistent and really want to improve their lives. Now, like when someone comes and they're really not in that place and ready to make the changes that need to be made, then you don't see as much of a result. But for the people that apply the practices, definitely across the board, people start to improve their life and get better to differing degrees. I've seen some pretty miraculous results from people in very short period of time just by applying these things, just because we start with that foundational piece of do something that makes you happy every day, not do a mindfulness routine every day.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your book, Vibrational Healing and Attaining Balance and Wholeness. So tell me a little bit about what prompted you to write it, first of all, and what do you see as the insight for the reader? If one of our listeners were to get online and buy that book, what would they expect as an outcome?
So the book was put together as a way to teach people what their primary energy type is, and also how to find the sorts of alternative and healing modalities that are already out there that pair with their energy type. One of the primary things I found with working with people is that they think that a lot of complementary and alternative medicine is hokey because they try something and it doesn't work for them. And usually they try something that's just not in alignment with their energetic constitution. So of course it's not going to work for them. So I want to help people overcome that barrier by helping them to understand what is their elemental composition in both their emotions and their mind, and also the breakdown in the physical body, to teach them how that relates to strengths and weaknesses and different gifts and talents that they have in life. Also how it relates to their psychology, the way that they approach things. We start to also talk about how these things affect health and wellness, and what sorts of these already existing modalities are going to be great for them. There's also a ton of customized meditations and breathing techniques per type in there, which I think this makes it really easy for people to get started, like when they don't have something already. And for healers, it gives them an additional resource to use, like when they're working with their existing clients. And as to how I came to write the book, that's pretty interesting. I was actually prompted by my publisher. I didn't have any intention of writing this book to begin with, and I had gotten a call one day from Llewellyn and said, "We just read this magazine article you wrote on vibrational healing. It was amazing. Would you consider writing us a book?" So I said yes.
Yeah, they're a very well-known publisher in that area as well. So
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about this group that you started called Gita for the Masses. So tell me a
Gita
little
for the
bit.
Masses is something I started quite a while back, like back in 2010. It's a nonprofit organization, and the whole focus of that is to use these quote-unquote spiritual teachings as a way to promote conscious character development and better living, so that people can learn to overcome their obstacles in life and just be more successful and victorious. So we use this as a very non-dogmatic, non-denominational way to teach people how to go in and digest those thought forms, how to analyze their life and what's going on, and really tap into that art of self-inquiry. So it doesn't matter what religion or belief system someone is, it's supposed to help someone strengthen their existing relationship with themselves, their higher power, and just figure out what's holding them back, move forward in their life.
Tell us a little bit about your typical coaching client. If someone was to come across your book or hear your lectures or read an article that you submitted to one of these publications, what would the perfect candidate be for someone who would be coached by you?
The perfect candidate would be someone who is really willing to make progress, willing to try new things, and to have a consistent routine. I find that when people come and maybe they've already tried certain things that don't work for them and they're getting frustrated, they have a little bit more momentum and energy with them already to be consistent with something new, because they're going into this knowing that, hey, these things before didn't work. I really think that this could work. Let's just put 100% of the energy into this and move forward. So that said, I think that that's the primary thing that someone needs. They need to be determined in whatever it is. If they're sick and they want to get healthy like me, then they can't own their disease. They can't talk about my cancer or my fibro. They need to relate to these things as neutral and start to really push them away. If someone is already healthy and they're coming to me to learn more about mindfulness and meditation and how to just improve and tweak their health, then it's best when they have really clear-cut goals that they want to accomplish, so we can work towards them. Like if someone tells me, I want to double my income in the next year, they're going to get a totally different routine than someone that comes to me that says, I want to improve my relationship with my spouse. What can you do to help me with that based on my type?
Excellent. Now, if you could go back in time, your current self could journey back through time and give yourself some advice when you first started, what do you wish you knew then that you now know that would have helped you to accelerate your journey?
My healing journey or my learning journey about all of this stuff?
You can answer both. That'd be fine. I think that's good for both. I mean, there's two different people out there, of course, some that don't need that healing like you were saying.
That's a good question. I don't think I would really change anything about what happened. Like, I suffered a lot in my trajectory, but I don't see that as a problem. I actually see that as something that helps to build character and resilience and to make you more determined. Now, not everyone will see it that way, but uh, I'm a fan of having some level of adversity because it really forces you to know who you are, what you want to accomplish, and to work towards it. So I don't think that I would change anything in particular.
Yeah,
If I
not
were to
really
give myself,
changing, but what kind of advice would you give yourself along the way? Is really because we can't really change the past, but if we could give somebody who might be going through a struggle right now, that might be where you were when you first started. Um, they're wanting to, they're looking at your life, maybe, or maybe this radio show here that we're doing. They'll tune into it and they'll say, "Wow, I I really resonate with that person." And then if you could go back in time for yourself, but think of it like because you've been through the journey, now you've written the book and you've got the T-shirt and all those things. So tell me a little bit about what that's really where I'm coming from. Not that you could change it, but
yeah, well, the advice that I would give to other people or that I'd go back and give myself would be, don't ever doubt. Seeds of doubt destroy hope, and you need hope in order to move forward. A hope is like your fuel, like especially when you're sick and you don't know what to do and you're struggling, you don't know how to make a breakthrough. The one thing that you have to have is hope, and you have to have the knowledge that there is a path to the other side, and that as long as you're looking for it, it's also looking for you.
that's great. Now, on your journey, did you have any mentors or anyone that really inspired you to take action and get to where you are now?
I had studied within a couple of Eastern spiritual traditions, so I had a guru in each tradition. I wouldn't say that they motivated me towards my health and wellness journey. They were just the people that showed me. I think the thing that I realized very early on, one of the questions I had when I was a teenager was, can you really move forward in life and be successful if you're truly ethical? Because I hadn't seen any great examples of that. And so once I had met my first spiritual teacher, I knew that absolutely not only could you definitely should, and you can make even a much bigger impact. So they were the ones who just really lit that fire inside of me and said that, yes, I could do anything I wanted to do. I can do it ethically, and I can motivate and inspire other people along the way as well. So that's what I needed to succeed and move forward on my journey, and to know that absolutely anything was possible. I think whatever unlocks that door in your heart is different for every person. Whatever it is that's going to let someone know, hey, everything's okay, and I can heal from anything, I can accomplish anything. Like, we've all got different triggers, but for me, it was just knowing that you can be blindingly radiant and be ultra successful.
That's great. Now tell me a little bit about what you love most about getting up and doing what you do each day, or when you think about your week, what gives you the warm fuzzies that says, hey, I want to do this again next week or tomorrow?
I love helping other people get to the next stage in their journey, and also seeing all the different places that people come from, because it's a total affirmation that no one believes the same thing, no one grows up the same way. There's no one right way to accomplish anything. And for me, that's very affirming, that we're all unified beings, but we have so much diversity in the world, and that needs to be embraced. So that's what's really motivational for me, is like that I can help people from different parts of the world who've grown up in different cultures with different beliefs, with different problems, and these techniques still work. The techniques will still work to get them to where they want to go.
What do you think is your biggest challenge to your world mission that maybe somebody out there can help you with, or give you some advice, or read, or what do you think? What is your biggest challenge to reaching that milestone?
Biggest challenge to reaching that milestone, just getting greater and greater exposure. I mean, my longer term goal is to have my own TV show, because I think that TV is a great way to motivate and inspire people. And I don't think we have enough positivity in the day-to-day media, or like what's going on in the talk show scene right now. And I would really like to change that. I would say I've already made really good progress towards that. I'm working with mentors. I was recently on Harry Connick Jr.'s daytime show. I'll be going back and doing another filming with them in a couple weeks. So, but yeah, I think just meeting more like-minded people, getting more exposure, getting more people aware of the book and what I'm doing, and really experiencing the profound transformation, especially like people that are here in the US. Like, I've worked with people all over the world, but I'd really like to work with a lot more people here who are part in this culture and really interactive in day-to-day life, and not just the struggles are different, depending on where it is that you grow up.
So tell us a little bit about how can somebody get a hold of you and learn more about you out there, so that they can continue this journey with you.
Well, all of my social media handles are at Jaya Jaya Myra. My website is jayajayamyra.com. So I'm extremely easy to find online. You can Google it. You'll come to my website. I have a Wikipedia page. Everything is rock solid, consistent. So Google Jaya and Myra, you will find me. You Google that on Amazon or Barnes & Noble, you'll find me as well. Excellent.
So is there any big plans for you coming up in the next 3-6 months or a year, besides, being on the television show is, of course, a big move, but anything else that maybe our listeners could tune into?
Absolutely. I am planning the first Natural Health and Wellness Summit to happen in New York City next fall. So that is on the horizon. So keep an eye out for more information on that. And yes, there are some other interesting things in the works, but I'm not quite ready to announce that yet. Okay.
Do you have any other books or any other training materials that people can look forward to, or when they tune in, you keep them up to date? What do you?
I will keep people up to date. I'm working on my second book right now.
Okay, excellent. Well, I want to thank you for being a guest on BrainTap Radio. We're always looking to how to expand. This is an area we work mostly with light, sound, and vibration. So you're tuned right into what we're doing, and we deal mostly with what we call thoughts, traumas, and toxins. So this is one of the ways that people can learn about it. So go online, read about Myra, look at her book, Vibrational Healing, and I'm very pleased to have you on the show, and we look forward to helping get your message out there to the world.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here with you today.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.